with any luck. To my right, we have Mike Stackpole, who wrote the X-Wing books, among others. Woo! To his right, Dave Wolverton, who wrote The Courtship of Princess Leia. And then to his right, Kevin J. Anderson, the author of the Jedi Academy trilogy and the Young Jedi Knight series.
Collectively, we are known as the bearded, balding Star Wars authors. Timothy Zahn usually joins us.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a facial hair dressing company.
Goatees.
So, to start with, for everyone here in the room, I'd just like to ask how it was you guys got to be a Star Wars writer. And we can start with you, Kevin.
Well, I was one of the first ones, and I didn't even know this was going to be a big thing. Tim Zahn's Spear of the Empire had just come out, but there was really no knowledge in the field that there was going to be a big line or that was going to be a big success. In fact, there's kind of a legendary story that the deputy publisher of Bantam Books said he wanted to do Star Wars novels, and they said, "Why would you want to do that? Star Wars is dead." And he said, "Well, this was years after Return of the Jedi. There was no talk of Episode 1, 2, and 3. There was nothing else going on, and they treated him like he had decided to do a new series of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea novels." And he felt so strongly about it that he said, "Not only do I want to do these novels, I want to do them in hardcover," which made him think he was even more crazy. And he said, "I believe in this so strongly, I'm going to put my job on the line, that if you don't let me do these Star Wars books, I quit." So they let him do the Star Wars books, and Tim's first one came out in hardcover and hit #1 on the New York Times list. So thank all of you, those of you who are old enough to buy books then. And then I was working for Bantam doing some other books, and I was easy enough to work with. I turned my books in on time. I wrote what I was supposed to be doing, and I didn't realize I was auditioning for Lucasfilm. My editor called me up one afternoon. Actually, she left a message on my machine on Friday afternoon and said, "Kevin, call me right away. I've got something really, really important to ask you." That's not a message that you want to get on your home machine at 5:30 on a Friday afternoon, knowing that everybody's gone home in New York and you have to wait until Monday to call. So I called on Monday, and I said, "What's this important thing?" She said, "Kevin, do you like Star Wars?" And I said, "Well, of course I like Star Wars. Everybody likes Star Wars. What do you want?" She said, "You want to write 3 sequels to it."
Wow.
Okay, I can do that. So that's how I got picked.
And it was around the same time because actually my editor talked to me a little bit before Timothy Zahn's first book came out because they were thinking about doing it if it went big. And she called me and she asked, she said, "Dave, what do you think about Star Wars?" So I immediately started giving her a literary analysis of Star Wars' archetypal journey. Anyway, after about 35 minutes into my discussion, she said, "What I really mean is, would you like to write a Star Wars novel?" And I was like, "Of course." That's a simple question. And we went from there.
Yeah, my route is a little bit more roundabout in that I come out of the gaming industry, and I had done a bunch of novels, about like novels, but I also done a bunch of computer games. So I get a call from an editor at Bantam asking me, without naming any names, about what I thought about doing tie-in novels related to computer games. And I give a fairly clear assessment that I didn't think it was a good gamble because computer game players at that point had shown no indication of wanting to read novels. That there were just 2 different sets of activities. So after about 15 minutes, basically said, don't spend a lot of money on this if you want to do it. And she said, "Oh shucks, we're thinking about buying a license to this Star Wars X-Wing game." I said, "Oh, X-Wing, hell, buy it." and that was it. Heard nothing for about 6 months, and then out of the blue in February, I think it was Valentine's Day morning, as a matter of fact, I live in barrel being that I got the novels and I get to log a lot of hours playing those games as research.
Well, we all have, I mean, I've got many Boba Fett action figures and Millennium Falcon models and all kinds of things that I've bought and written off on my taxes as a requirement for my job.
So you guys are working in the Star Wars universe in an era where the prequels were still sort of coming. You didn't know how those might change what you were doing. And right now, there's a lot of anxiety about that with Episode 7. What sort of advice would you give people who are sort of nervous about that same sort of anxiety now? And, you know, how did you deal with it then? And how do you feel about some of the things that you guessed at being overwritten by the movies?
Well, everybody knows the books are better than the movies, right?
Just the prequels at least.
Well, that's because we get better special effects.
Yeah, we have better. Well, I'll plant something because people get a lot of anxiety. I must have gotten 50 or 100 Facebook posts about, with the new Star Wars movies, are they going to follow your books? Are they going to make all the EU canon? And I just went, and nobody's told us anything unless they've told you something. But my answer immediately was, of course they're not going to use our books. They're going to do whatever they want. They don't want to be bound by the, whatever it is, 200 novels that have been written now in the EU. They want to write whatever they want, and it's J.J. Abrams, so he's going to blow up the planet Vulcan, and I mean, and rewrite history. But that's okay. Anybody who's read comics knows that you can have a million different timelines, history lines, canon lines, whatever, as long as they don't put the holiday special and the Ewoks cartoons.
About that, Dark Horse just put out a comic that tied the cartoons into Return of the Jedi pretty well.
I'm glad you read it.
It's good.
No, I think that, you know, having worked in Hollywood, there's a saying in Hollywood that a great script or a great property is pretty much like a fire hydrant is to a dog, and producers and directors will come and take a pee on it and try to call it their own, in one way or another. And yeah, I'm not trying to be vulgar here, but the truth is that I think that what will happen is that J.J. Abrams and their writers will try to make it their own as much as possible. They'll try to come up and recreate the vision. And I think that whenever that happens, everything that came before is just kind of washed away and ignored. And so I expect that to sort of be realistically what happens. I would love to see it if they actually did take some of the ideas that we used. You know, I've had people saying, "Gosh, are they going to have Dathomir on there? Are they going to have, you know, some of the planets he created?" And I'm going, I don't know, but I would hope that it could be fun
Well,
to have.
even the Solo twins, or even Han and Leia getting married. I mean, that didn't happen in Return of the Jedi. They're romantically involved, but they may well just not even have the Han and Leia relationship and just go on and do something completely different.
So,
So,
Dave, you brought up the Dathomir, though, that made it into the Clone Wars, though. I mean, they have borrowed stuff from what you guys have done and put it on the shows, which...
Yeah, I've seen, you know, bits and pieces of it in a number of the, you know, in the video games and in the TV series. So there is a chance, you know, I'll keep my fingers crossed that there'll be a little bit of my stuff in there. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, look, the best shot for all of us who would like to see some or all of the expanded universe show up in ongoing projects is this, that the people that Disney put in charge of handling the property were people who grew up reading the books that we did. You know, you have to remember that I think my last book that I had came out 15 years ago. So, you know, the chances
so
are.
you were after me.
Yeah. So you know, this is. But basically, you know, when you're looking at the young 30-somethings that are in charge of this, they were teenagers when they would have been interested. So they would have been reading our stuff, and we would have helped flesh out the universe. So that's on one side. We can be hopeful. I've done very little work in Hollywood, but I remember with the BattleTech novels, there was a company that wanted to option them to do a comic, and or to do a cartoon series. They flew me out, put me up in a hotel, took me to breakfast. I talked to two executives for about 3 hours. They handed me $1,000 and sent me home simply because none of them wanted to read the novels that they wanted to option. All right, they could have had an
Yeah. With, I mean, would you guys, if they came to you and said, hey, this is what we're doing with the new world, are you guys interested in helping reshape the new direction Star Wars is going in? Would you guys jump in on that?
Yeah, that's not a problem, sure.
Yeah.
Especially if they pay.
The basic rule is I kill to do that, so.
Well, one thing, and we say this a lot, and I say this for all of us, but you have to remember, and we have to remember, this isn't my characters. They aren't Dave's characters. They're not Mike's characters. They're all toys that we borrowed from George Lucas. When they hired us to play with those toys, we had fun in the sandbox, and we gave the toys back. They can do whatever they want with those toys. It's theirs. Jedi Academy stuff isn't mine. Lucas owns it. I got hired to write it. It's theirs. So whatever they want to do with it, it's not. We're not going to go off and be pissy because they changed our beautiful work of literature. It's their thing. They let us play with their toys, but it's their toys, and they can do whatever they want.
So with Lucasfilm obviously having a level of approval on the books and the storylines that you guys came up with, what's the best, craziest idea they wouldn't let you use?
That's the last part again?
What's the best, craziest idea that they wouldn't let you use?
I've got a great one, but I'll let Mike answer first.
Actually, there wasn't anything, they never said no to me. In fact, they let me do things that I would not have let me do. Very specifically, when I was doing the Ice Arts Revenge, the fourth of the X-Men books, in the end of that book, I give an Imperial Star Destroyer to Murak's father, Booster Tarek, which you never give a weapon of war to a civilian crook. I mean, you just don't. But I put a footnote in the manuscript saying, I'm doing this because Tim needs it in Spectre of the Future, or Spectre of the Past. Editor called me up and said, you're doing that because Tim needs it? Yes. Okay, it's in. So yeah, I never would have allowed me to do that, but they did, so yeah.
Did Tim really need that?
Oh yeah. Oh, and here's the funny thing about that. So Tim needed it because he needed a Star Destroyer to get blown apart in what became Vision. It was going to be a Spectre now, Vision. And Tim was showing me pages to make sure that he got Booster right, and I would do the same thing with Tim to make sure I got his characters right. Well, when he sent me that section where Booster says or when Talon Card says to Booster, we're using your ship and we're going to shoot the hell out of it, this is what we're doing to it. Booster says, okay, you're bringing it back up to spec, and there's one more thing. You're going to paint it red. Because Booster was too cheap, because in that universe, only Star Destroyer white paint comes in sufficient cheap quantities to keep your starship up. But he wanted it to be red. So, Tim agreed to put that line in that he would be painted red. About 6 months later, I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and I met the artist and the colorist who were going to be doing the Union comic, The Marriage of Luke and Mara Jade. And I scripted that comic. And they were showing me pages, and in the very first comic, if you've got it, there is one exterior shot of the errant venture, and you can see from the nose up, it's beginning to be repainted red. And that was just a little joke for anybody who had read those far in the books. We got to have that little visual in there.
Yeah, I kind of threw a lot of crazy ideas out there, and actually when George Lucas read my outline, he sent me a little letter saying, this looks really, really exciting, I can't wait to see it, kind of thing. And there were only a few things that got nixed for me. I did have Chewbacca pull the arm off of one of the witches of Dathomir and beat her to death with it.
Wow.
Next, too violent. But I was like, but they promised that Wookiees could do that in the first movie. So that was one. Then there was another moment where I had Princess Leia watching Han Solo walk away and sort of admiring his behind. That was kind of an in-joke with a woman who was in my writing group who was a big fan of Harrison Ford and his behind. But they didn't like that. So, those are the little types of things. But those weren't really the big ideas. The big crazy things I got in. But I think Mike is right, because
almost anything. I have very, very few things that they didn't like, but I did have one that I'm still sad to this day, because it is truly a brilliant idea that they didn't do. I had to do an art book with the great artist Ralph McQuarrie called The Illustrated Star Wars Universe, which was sort of like a National Geographic of all the planets in the Star Wars universe. And you had to, you had Tatooine, you had Dagobah, you had Coruscant, and all those things. And I was, at the time, we all know Return of the Jedi, and the Ewoks were just, you know, a little bit too cute and silly. And they were there for marketing reasons, and we all know that. But, so I'm writing the Endor chapter, and I'm trying to go, all right, I like doing retro continuity, like why are the Ewoks cute? There must be some reason for why the Ewoks are cute. So then I came up with, again, walk with me here, this is my genius idea. That, say there was an upper class, like a noble race, I'm thinking like Marie Antoinette, like they're richer than anybody else and they've got nothing but time on their hands. So they developed this race of like pets to be their cute companions, little furry walking teddy bears that they would have as in their house. They would be pets. They would
breed of pygmy Wookiees.
pygmy Wookiees, and they were bred to be cute.
enough to work.
They were bred to be cute, and that's why they're cute. And so what happened was a noble ship, like a yacht with a bunch of these Ewoks aboard, crashes on the moon of Endor, and the nobles are all killed. The Ewoks survive, and the only other thing that survives is a droid that teaches them how to build their little tree houses and stuff. So they breed and populate the planet, the moon of Endor, and that's why they're cute, because they're bred to be cute, but they've gone feral. And that's why they revere C-3PO, because they had a droid that taught them how to survive. Says the Ewoks are cute because they're cute. So that genius idea got mixed, and that's still the best one that I had to go. But they let everything else do.
Now I've forever been thinking of this feral beginnings.
So, if you guys are interested, we've got microphones up here to take questions, so if anybody wants to come up and take questions. While you guys are coming up to do that, there's microphones on either aisle. I just want to ask you guys about the process of writing a Star Wars book. How do you guys submit manuscripts? How do you get them approved? What is it like getting them published for that first time?
We haven't done this for 15 years.